Welcome to the Visualize Meditations podcast, hosted by your friend Sasha Patil, a Chopra certified meditation teacher. The first step to creating the life of your dreams is to create a clear and compelling vision for what you want for the future. I'll be guiding you on visualization meditation so you can get clear on your deepest desires. Let's get started so you can turn your vision into a reality. Welcome to the pod. Hello. Let me just paint the scene for you guys right now. So, we just had this incredible meal cooked by our housemate. It was lasagna, tiramisu. We've had a couple drinks. We're hanging out and we're getting to some deep questions. And then I was saying that I asked everyone the same 10 questions. And then Carl was like, okay, let's fucking go. Because I've been harassing these two to do a pod with me for a while. I'm like, to Max. I'm like, Max.
And I just farted.
You just farted. I'm like, Max, when are we going to record? Carl, let's do a pod. And they're like, okay. So for context, and the first question is, how do we know each other? We're sharing a mic, by the way. Go ahead.
From living in co-ops together. And I believe we moved in on the same day, right? On the very first day. So since September. Yeah.
You two moved in on the same day. Did you also
On the
move in
16th of October.
September.
Yeah. Instead of what do you do for a living, what's your story?
That's a very hard question. What is my story? I have no idea.
It begins in the body of your mother.
Yeah.
Well,
and ends in the body of your
before,
mother.
Actually. Maybe it begins before.
Does
your life begins before you're born or when you are born?
I believe that your life begins at about 4 years old. Like one's life begins at about 4 years old.
Why 4 years old?
Well, whenever you become a human being rather than just a little baby with no opinions and no idea of the world. I think for the first couple of years of your life, you're just
a blob.
Yeah, you're just a blob, just going through it.
You think when you get conscious of yourself?
Yeah, I believe there's like a point, and you can't define it, but like when you start to walk and talk and have your own perspectives on things, that's when your life begins, right? Before then, it's just like the prequel.
I think it's a philosophical concept from Jacques Lacan, the mirror stage. When you look in the mirror and you realize you exist.
And when do you think that starts to happen?
Yeah, around 3-4, yeah. Maybe even before.
So when you start to develop like consciousness.
Yeah, and I think when you start to develop the theory of mind, like the theory that like other people exist and have their own personality. Like before that, when you're like 2 years old, your mum is just like an object in the universe which exists. But then once you start to appreciate other people around you as also being humans with their own life, and you have like friends, like your first friend and stuff like that, that's when you become like a person. That's when the story begins, I would say.
So what is your story?
Later than 3 then.
Yeah. What is my story? I grew up in the south of England in Brighton, super fun city with really loving parents and one younger brother. I moved to New Zealand for 2 years when I was younger and lived there, had friends there, went to school there, then came back to England and felt quite disjointed for a long time and felt trapped between two different places. And then throughout early school, didn't enjoy it all too much, and then really fell in love with sport and fell in love with like school and education and stuff like that. Grew up in Brighton with a very solid group of friends. We got into a lot of mischief and trouble, and then eventually settled down and decided I wanted to be like a scientist and to do something with my life more than just sport and fucking around.
The Carnage.
Yeah, more than just the Carnage, which I guess was about like 17, 18. And then got super serious and then wanted to move as far away from Brighton as I could because I wanted something else, like a kind of, I wouldn't say fresh start, but to experience something new. And then, yeah, that's what led me to move to Paris, I guess, eventually, and continue doing that, and that's where I am now. So.
L'histoire, is that right? Also.
My story.
Ton histoire, ouais.
So I was born from a father and a mother in Paris. A father that both of his parents are from Morocco. And one of them was like very polyvalent. He was a Jew. My grandmother was a math teacher. And on my mother's side, the grandfather was a astrophysician. And on the other side, my other grandfather was Turkish. He was an astrophysician as well. And my grandmother is Danish, and she was an English teacher. And my father is a pretty unique person in a way that he is quite lonely. And I've seen him lonely, but not lonely physically, but in the way he behaves. And I think I felt that loneliness in him. And he was pretty weird in the society. And I was feeling the same when I was young, until like 15, 16 years old maybe. And my mother was super caring. She was educating all of our family. We were three children, 3 brothers. I'm in the middle. And yeah, so after 15, I realized why I was lonely. And I understood like how we could be happy in the world. So I tried to evolve, and I'm still evolving today, double of this age I was. And yeah, always targeting a better version of yourself. You have to you don't have to, but if in your head you have values, you will try to converge towards them. You don't have to be like 100% sure of what you're doing or be always aligned perfectly, because it's not possible. But having those values in mind and like being natural about those values is, I think, how I get better.
What makes you say lonely?
Not understood.
From finding people that share your morals, or like finding people that you can't relate to, or like in what sense?
And you feel like no one around you was relating to you in what way?
I think it's miscommunication, and I've never learned really how to communicate in a structured way, I'd say, because my mind is not very, it's structured in a way, but very unstructured when I have to verbalize it.
You're also speaking in your second language,
Yeah.
so you're doing a very good job of that, I think.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You're joking, of course.
Mm.
Tu penses que c'est plus facile en français ou non?
Oh, no, I'm happy to speak English.
Yeah, but do you think, I don't know, but do you still feel misunderstood, or when? Yeah.
So no, so I said yes, but the answer is no. Well, of course, sometimes. Moments of loneliness, because, but like almost never today. And yeah, I learned that in order to behave and in order to understand the others, you have to listen to them and think from their perspective. But this is really fucking hard, even more when you don't know the person and everyone is talking about his
Prejudice?
No, self. Like you don't know someone, so you're gonna think this person is like this.
Like prejudice.
Like
Prejudice.
projecting on
Oh
someone.
yeah, so prejudice. Okay.
C'est préjugé.
Yeah.
C'est une préjugé.
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 Yeah.
So,
J'ai des préjugés ou j'ai un préjugé sur toi.
Yeah, I think I can understand that. I think it took me a long time to realize that people are more similar than they seem. Like people that actually have a load more in common than you think. Most people that you talk to, even if they have totally different like values in their life and act in very different ways, are being guided by the same principles, which everyone is like, and a lot of that for everyone is like that quest for meaning, right? So, and I think part of the like quest is, as you said, to be understood, right, and to feel like you have people in your life which you can relate to and you can be proud of and you can feel a sense of community with.
And share with.
Yeah. And that's hard to find. But like a lot of people.
To find and to keep.
Yeah. But people are more similar than you think. I think you can, part of being social human is to find those similarities, right? And I think something which like really changed my perspective is look for them. Don't try and just like passively attract people that will be similar to you. You need to go out and find something similar in someone. And like once you found that one thing, then other things become apparent. Like you find you both enjoy, I don't know, like sushi, and then suddenly you figure out that actually you share a lot more morals than you might initially think. But that's tough, and it requires you to often like look past things in someone that you otherwise might not. Like I think you have to be quite open-minded. Yeah, you have to accept that like someone that you can share yourself with isn't necessarily going to be you, and isn't necessarily going to be like a copy of one of your friends. Like they're going to be very distinct in a lot of different ways, but you can still find those similarities.
Well, what do you look for when you're looking for people to connect with? What are your values in friendship and in connection?
I think sincerity is a big one. I think I struggle to connect with someone which isn't sincere, and that can be like about anything, but everyone loves a joke, right? Everyone loves like having a good time, but I think it's sincerity and like vulnerability. I think you need to show some form of vulnerability in order to connect with someone, you know? And like someone that's like never sincere or never vulnerable, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to connect with that person.
Yeah, you never get past the hi, weather stage.
It was just what we were talking about earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can ask a more kind of meaningful question and they just deflect with a joke, which is great. Everyone loves doing that. But if you do that every time, it's like, where are we going? What are we going to do from this point?
Yeah.
You know?
You can only go as deep with someone as they've gone with themselves as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I don't take myself seriously, and I don't think people should take themselves seriously. But you can take your interactions with other people seriously. You can interact with people in a serious way, even without being serious yourself. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So that for sure is something I look for.
What do you look for?
When you were talking about vulnerability, I was saying to myself, I am worried about it. Like I'm scared to see in the others what I'm scared to see in myself. And I think vulnerability is one of them. And Salut. And you don't like to see in the others what you don't like to see, which makes sense actually. But so for this example, vulnerability, it's one of the reasons why I was very distant from my ex-girlfriend, because I didn't want the dependence I didn't want to hold his dependence, which could sound selfish, but I was scared of being the person responsible for her wellness. So vulnerability, but yeah, so it's very interesting because when you also say that you have to look in the others, common grounds or common values, there are people, like a lot of people that which could take time to find those values. So yeah, shouldn't stop at their prejudice.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one, isn't it? And I don't think it's fair to demand that people have figured out their values. And I don't demand that of myself, so I can't demand that of others.
And that's actually going to be one of my questions, because that was something Carl and I were talking about, like an hour ago maybe? We were talking about, like, what are your values? What are your top values? And Carl was like, I have 4 top values. Blah, like, authenticity, caring, generosity, and...
Begins with an H.
It's not honesty. Oh, like being humble. Like humility. And Carl's just like, these are my top 4 values. And I'm like, and that was a question I was going to ask you guys now. What are your values? But you think it's just not fair to have that, to just demand of yourself to just know them off the bat.
I don't know if I meant values necessarily in that sense. Everyone would love to be humble and generous and empathetic and kind and funny and smart and sexy and all these stuff, right? Everyone wants that. I values in terms of and I was having this conversation with my friends outside. So my friend Mike, who you met, was raised very religious, very Christian. So and when we were talking about values, I guess we were talking more about ethics and like his like ethics about what does it mean to is it okay to be gay? Is it okay to murder people, whatever? And all of those ethics and values were governed by Christianity. But then he stopped being religious and is no longer religious. And like he moved away from his family's teachings to establish his own values and ethics and morality. And he's still figuring that out, right? And like his teachings come from that which he was brought up with, as we all do, right? But I think that's an ever evolving thing. I think like the values and ethics and morals that you hold should shift and should change with time, and they have to. So for me, I would actually argue the opposite of that, and something that a value, I guess, which I would hold would be flexibility of that, would be like the capacity for change. And I think my best friends aren't the people which I share common ethics or morals with all the time. We differ on a lot of very key things, I would think. But the thing which I think is defining is the flexibility and like the ability to hear and consider other values. So everyone would love to do that, but it's actually a lot harder than it seems. Because it's like if you've been brought up believing that like people should have to work for a living, or people like that don't work are lazy, that's like a value which someone might hold, which I disagree with. But like the capacity to change and the capacity to think and reflect on your values is key for me. So that's like flexibility is something which I would hold there.
I always find it so frustrating because it's something I went through a lot with people who could only hang out with other people who held the same political values as them. I think I experienced a lot, and I don't know if it's like the same here, but in the US it's very polarizing.
For sure. Yeah.
And like I've lost a lot of friendships over differing, not even my political opinions, but like the political opinions of my ex-boyfriend. I've lost a ton of friends over it. And I think it's really important to be around people who think differently than you.
For sure.
Because how else are you supposed to expand your horizons? How else are you supposed to think differently if you're not exposed to different ways of thinking?
For sure.
And it's just something that like immersing yourself in different perspectives allows you to broaden your horizons.
Absolutely. And that's for me the key point, is like the ability to broaden your horizons. And I don't want to hang out with someone that has my own views and is not willing to expand their own horizons, and I don't want to hang out with someone that holds opposing views and is not willing to expand their horizons. I want to hang out with people that do that. So it doesn't matter their political affiliation or their religious beliefs or whatever it is. If they are willing to reflect upon those, that's what's interesting for me.
Right.
And that's where real interesting discussion, and that's the difference between a discussion and like a lecture, is like the capacity for change. If someone is just going to sit there and listen to what you have to say and then just disregard it, I would find it difficult to go beyond just a conversation. But like to actually become close with someone, you need to have that capacity for change. And that is something that that's a value which I would say is something I look for. Although that seems hypocritical to say, because I'm saying I don't want value, you know what I'm saying?
But it makes sense, yeah.
Don't you think for some criteria, for some values, for some items, there is, from your perspectives, good and bad? Which would mean if you want to change, you would shift from good to bad, or all the opposite?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's such thing. I don't think it's defined like that. Like I'm not religious, and I don't believe in a universal morality. So I don't believe there's such thing as universally morally good or morally bad. I think we define them, right? So someone's good would be my bad and vice versa. So, but I think you need to be able to justify what you believe, and I think you need to have some consistency in what you believe. That's definitely important. But someone that argues that abortion is murder is not wrong, right? I don't think that abortion is murder, and I would consider that my stance to be good, quote unquote good, right? but they don't have a bad opinion. They don't have like bad ethics because they have a difference of opinion, if it's logically justifiable. And if you're Christian, it is easily logically justifiable to say that abortion is murder. If you believe that life starts at conception, then they're correct, right? I disagree, but that's not to say that I'm in the right or they're in the wrong.
Just say it's different.
But it's
you
about
have the capacity to change.
Yeah, you have exactly.
Or maybe it's your capacity to have an open mind.
Yes.
Not necessarily to change.
And to expand your horizons.
Yeah, because it's like you can still hold your own opinion. Like, I don't think you have to change just by every person you talk to, but it's just like the ability to approach every conversation with curiosity and an open mind and an open heart. Like, that's really all that matters.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be able to listen.
Yeah.
So you have the capacity to change. Today, you think, in fact, your values is how do you rank like all the possible values that we can write on paper. I don't know, 30, 40 values, 30, 40 criteria, whatever. What I see in these questions is what are your 4, 5, 10 like top that you in your deep interior you behave to converge to respect those values. And of course it can change, but can it like be erased totally? Or is it the ranking that can change?
Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah. Do you define like new values, or do you just shift ones which you prioritize ones which you have? Yeah.
And so on this, if you can totally like shift today, if you get older and you change, as you said, that you can change, do you think it would be a good choice, or can you look to your older self saying, maybe I shouldn't have done that? Or do you like today say, okay, I'm gonna behave in a way that I'm never gonna shift from my core values?
Yeah, that's a good, really interesting question. Yeah, I think if you never changed, it would be really boring. And this is something I really don't like. When people like will talk about themselves at 15 and will be like, oh, such an idiot, oh, so stupid, oh, so cringe. That's cringe. Feeling that was cringe is cringe. Of course you change, and of course your values shift. And if you look back retroactively, you should feel like you've changed. Like, that's like growth, right? But like, to look back and to think that you were wrong, or think that you were cringe, or to think that you were like stupid at one point in your life, that is like a misnomer. That's, of course you should change, and you shouldn't feel embarrassed about changing, and you shouldn't look back and feel regret, because as long as you were in that moment behaving as you thought was correct, and you were acting in a way that allowed you to change and become who you then were, then you were doing the right thing. So I think to try and define your values, I'm 23, if I tried to define the values that will govern my entire life, they would be wrong, right? I'll look back at 30 and I'll look back at myself at 23 and probably think that I was an idiot, but I shouldn't, because I'm now trying to live my life in the way that I think is correct. I'm trying to live my life in the way that I think is like good for people around me and myself. So yeah, our values will change, and that's fine. We should look back on them and reflect on them, but not think that they were wrong, and not try and set them in stone either.
Can I ask you a question? You both, when was the last time that you felt
alive?
you did something wrong? Like, you, not regret, but you would say from yourself, I was not behaving in a way that I like.
Yeah.
Not like punctual, but like, when was the last shift?
I think if you want to start, I feel like I've been talking quite a lot.
The thing that comes to mind, which I don't even really feel bad about, but I was in a situationship for 6 months, and after getting out of it, I started talking to his best friend, but like, it wasn't something that I like tried to do consciously. Who the fuck is ringing the doorbell at this hour? Is someone locked out?
Tejas.
It's Tejas. Honey
I was
Bunny's
about to
here.
grab my keys. Thank you.
Oh.
Salut, bienvenue.
How are we doing?
For everyone listening, Tejas is in the house.
Oh, we're having a podcast.
You're doing a podcast right now, bro.
Come back, Tejas. Here, you want to share with Carl? Of course.
No, but I just did not to you.
So dead. I'm so fucking
Oh my
How's
god.
dead. It was fine.
Yeah.
Not too bad. But I got late because I go to the bar next door because it's like super cheap and they have really good drinks. And I get a takeaway beer with a straw, obviously. And
Take away beer with a straw.
where is it?
What?
Sela.
What? Does that even? Do you feel like bubbles? In Paris,
Well,
do you feel bubbles?
sorry?
Do you feel the bubbles, the gas?
No.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to feel the gas.
Okay.
Anyways, it's really hot in here. How are you guys here? Anyways, so I went there to get that, and I see my chef with her husband having a little date
big
night
easy.
with like drinks and fries. Like she left before us, which she usually does. And then we were cleaning, we finished cleaning, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get a beer. I went there and I see her, and then she was like, sit down with us. And then I sat down, and then like we were just chatting. And yeah, that took a while. That's why I'm here at 1. I was supposed to be here an hour ago.
Yeah, super late.
Yeah. Fuck, it was tonight. No wonder Rishal is like in food coma. No, please. Fuck. And tiramisu, did you save? Ah.
It's amazing.
I would have killed you guys if you did not save
No,
that
it
for
was-
me.
It was
No, I
incredible.
He specifically saved stuff for you.
He was like, "We're not eating this. This is stage justice stuff."
Such a sweetheart. Maybe I should leave some baba ganoush for him.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Well, over to you, ma'am.
Okay,
Yo.
so I don't know if I'd consider this wrong per se, but I was in the situationship. I got out of it, and then I started talking to his best friend, but nothing really progressed. And for me, I was like, listen, I'm not willing to get in the middle of your friendship. It's something for you guys to sort out. Like, he's your best friend, blah, blah, blah. But that's why I call him my toxic daydream, because it's like, it's a daydream and it's wrong, but it's just fun to think about and fun to fantasize about. And I wouldn't call it wrong because I haven't done anything wrong, but it feels wrong. And that's the last time I felt like I did something wrong. Also, sometimes I feel like I don't try hard enough at work, which I know is bullshit, but I feel like I could be doing more. Which, again, isn't wrong per se, because I know I'm working really hard. Maybe that's just like me being self-critical, which tends to happen. But those two things, it's like I didn't really do anything wrong in either sense, but I feel like I did something wrong.
Yeah. Right. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
When was the last time you felt like you did something wrong?
When you say wrong, what do you mean?
When was the last shift? From
Like moral shift?
Oh, that's a different
Yeah.
question.
yeah, when you
Oh.
think you
That's a different answer.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a different answer.
I would say for me, I went to university thinking that I had everything figured out, and I'd been on my year off, I'd like worked tons of jobs, and I was like, yeah, I've got shit figured out. I know who I am, I know what I like, I know the type of people I want to hang out with, and I was so incredibly wrong. And it took me like 4 years of university to really realize that I was completely wrong when I arrived. And that was a shift. I was like, I can't really pinpoint exactly what it was, which I like changed on per se, but I think I had a fairly inflated ego, and I think I had a fairly like overconfidence in my I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how
You
to
knew
describe
where
it.
you were going.
Yeah, I felt like I knew exactly what I wanted and what was important in life and like what the right way to live was, and if you're doing this differently, then that's wrong. And my moral ideas are the right ones, which I guess is exactly what we were talking about earlier, right? And then upon meeting other people, which I shared a lot of common stuff with, but I also shared a lot of differences with, did I realize I was completely wrong and I really didn't have that stuff figured out. And I think I'm still going through that shift now, right? So I started my first job, working in a different country where I don't really speak the language, meeting lots of different people of lots of different walks of life like yourself, like both of you, and realising that I really did not have shit figured out in my small town in Brighton in England, right? So, yeah, I think that was a big shift of the last 5 years. That's when I really noticed it. And it took a while to notice that.
I'm revising my answer because I misinterpreted your question. I thought you meant when you like did something wrong, not when you had some sort of moral shift. And you mean like when you had some sort of moral shift. I wouldn't even call it a moral shift, but there's definitely been a priority shift for me. Because it's not a difference in my morals. I feel like they've stayed the same. Hello, sir.
Sorry, ma'am. We're out.
No, don't go out,
I
actually.
mean, if you want to talk, just come here and get the mic on.
Don't go out.
Tejas and Rochelle are in the other, like literally in the kitchen, like adjacent to this room, chatting it up. You guys know Tejas and Rochelle. If you don't know them, go back and listen to their episodes. Anyway, I don't know if I would call it a moral shift, but I would definitely call it a priority shift where I believe, and this is something I chat about a lot with on the other podcast, like I believe life is like a pie or like a pizza, and each piece is a different aspect of life, right? So career, finances, friends, family, romance, fun and recreation, personal growth, physical environment, physical health, mental health, like maybe spirituality contribution, right? Call it a pizza, call it a pie, whatever. And every year I like consciously choose to focus on 2 areas. Last year was like career health, and this year it like completely shifted the priority to fun and growth. So I wouldn't call it a moral shift, but I'd call it a priority shift. And it's definitely what I'm doing right now. Fucking Carnage, baby. Carnage and growth. That's all I've been getting up to. So, but like moral shift, I'm not sure what's shift. I think it's something to sit down and think about, what are your morals? What are your values? What do you stand for? And I think it's something I'm definitely going to do. And I know I'm going to do that like at a Tony Robbins event later this year, but I feel like my morals have stayed somewhat aligned. I'm sure I've shifted. It doesn't come to mind. What are I see your wheels turning, Carl. What do you think?
No, before I was thinking about what I stand for.
If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything.
No, I think I'm in the midst of it.
Of figuring out what you stand for? Me too.
There are so many, frightening many criteria where I am at. Like, I have the capacity to change from one to the other. Like, for example, very societal central questions like, do you want children? Do you want family? Do you want like exclusivity with someone? Do you want love? Do you want love from yourself? More love from others? More like ambition at work? Money? Society? Everything, like all of those questions. Everything is always coming back and moving, always. Think, yeah, frightening the speed I can change and how it can hurt people. See, I think I'm in a moral shift.
You think you're in a moral shift or undergoing? I think so too. I think I'm like in the midst of starts with an R. It's gonna bother me.
Revolution?
No, not a revolution, not a renaissance, a rupture. I'm in the middle of a rupture. I'm quite literally in the middle of a rupture, 6 months into a 1-year journey. At least a year, right? I'm in the middle of a rupture right now. So it's like blowing shit up and seeing what resurfaces from the ashes. Like what? It's a huge moral shift.
Erupting or a rupture?
A rupture.
Because
But I am erupting from the rupture.
Eruption, it's exactly the same as what you described. Ashes everywhere.
Yeah, it
burning,
is an eruption
like
from a
fire.
rupture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
it's a
sense.
rupture, eruption.
Erupting.
Erupting the rupture. Erupting c'est quoi? And like rupture c'est quoi?
A rupture?
Yeah.
A rupture is like a...
No, but en français.
une rupture, pardon.
Rupture, c'est
It's
le
the
même
same
mot.
word, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway.
I think that's the really like valuable experience to have, right? Because I think the other option is you get to 50 and you followed someone else's path for your own life, and then you have that sudden realization set in of fuck, like it's too late, right? Whereas we're all still young, so to have that kind of epiphany now or eruption now in terms of that restructuring and that reassessment, if you didn't have that, I think you'd pay a fuck ton of money to have that when you're 50.
Yeah.
Even though it's fucking scary, I'm sure, to have that in the moment. And I've had that in earlier points in my life, not to the same degree, but to earlier points too. And like, it's super, super valuable. And I think people go through their entire life never having that. And yeah, you end up living someone else's life. You end up living the life of your parents, or you end up living the life of your immediate circle.
And people that I have gone through that path,
Yeah,
they don't even know about.
for sure, for sure.
Bon nuit, baby.
And when it gets to that point, you'd almost prefer for those people that they don't ever have that, because it must just be so painful. Some people will go through their entire life never really looking back and like reassessing and like seeing what emerges from the ashes, right? People will never ever have that, and like for them that works, but that scares the fuck out of me. To like the fear of not like reassessing and not being intentional is a big fear of mine, and like a fear of a lack of agency, like a fear of not having agency over my own decisions and not having control over the choices that I'm making. That's one of the things which scares me most.
Yeah, I know that.
You know?
That's your biggest fear.
That's my biggest fear, yeah.
I remember.
Is not having agency. So those periods of like eruption and reassessment are vital to that, because that's when you attain agency, and that's when you get control over your life, and you're not just living it for someone else, and you're not just like living a
You're not just following the
script.
random path
Yeah.
that someone laid
Exactly.
out for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're being intentional about the life you want to live because
Exactly.
you want to live it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's scary, but it's painful, but all good things are.
Most complex problem ever met. Very simple solution.
Mirroring your earlier
Yeah.
question of can you remember a point of a shift in morals? Can you remember a point of like one of those rapture moments, like curtains pulled back, everything's laid bare, and you really have to like assess? Like what for you was that moment?
Else than the one I've been living for a few years now. I would say when I was 20, I succeeded in a concours, like a test to join a school. And yeah, I feel like I've grown a lot by understanding someone else deeply. Like I was living with a roommate. I told you that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I learned so much. So other people from the ones in my family. And it was so different. And living with people like we are right now, and we were talking about this just before. Like you learn so much about different people. And you can like it, you can dislike it. And I think it's important to try to understand it. But disliking it is judgment. And as you were saying, I think it's good to learn from differences, because you will always find some common ground, or not always, but most of the time.
Yeah. And I think there are cases of people that you just can accept that you'll never be close with them,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be everyone's friend.
And you don't need to be always fully aligned with your values.
Of course, yeah.
And yeah, and when you evolve, you get better, and you're always like having flaws. And that's as long as you get better,
Yeah.
from your perspective at least.
Right. All right, y'all. 3 words you use to describe yourself.
I'm not a massive fan of this question, because what am I supposed to say? What I would like to be, or what I think other people see in me?
No, who do you think you are in 3 words? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't know how to answer that question. I think I'm still figuring that out. I wouldn't feel comfortable ascribing
Figuring it out.
Figuring it out, yeah, sure, that can be my 3.
Yeah.
Open to change, I'll put that.
Yeah.
Do you have any or no?
Words to describe myself?
Yeah, like 3 mots pour.
Okay, I'm gonna
Carl
understand.
déteste ces questions parce que.
Yeah, but I'm gonna answer it in a mathematical way.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so what's the 3 words that will make anyone, or the average person, get to know me, like how I would behave over a day, over a week, or a year, my life? What would be the 3 words that would help this person the most? So
It's a good way to pose the question.
I think sensitive would be the first one, explorator, and optimistic.
Explorator. Do you mean like curious?
Not necessarily.
Quelle est la différence
I would like to
explorator
be
et
more curious about things I'm not that interested about. Explorator is more deep dive, what you want to deep dive,
Okay.
explore.
Okay.
Maybe, like, I'm thinking as you're talking about this, the 3 words I would use to describe you. Like, the 3 words that I would,
Yeah,
if I was telling someone,
that's interesting.
if I was telling someone about my housemate, like, what would I say about him?
I love asking this question to people, especially like long-term friends, romantic partners. Just people, yeah. Anyway, so continue.
Well, we're both of those things, so that's great. I would say, similarly to what you said about yourself, I would add to that measured. I think you're a very measured person, like in terms of the way that you respond to things and the way that you consider your actions and your words is measured. You take care in those things.
Controlling?
No, like measured in terms, like,
Yeah, I understand.
you know,
Yeah.
you consider the intentions of your words carefully, which is a good thing. Open, for sure, like in every sense, I would say, like emotionally, socially, personally, very open. And I feel, even though we've shared a house for, I guess, 9 months now, even from the first month, that my opinion of you has not changed, because I feel like you were very open with who you were very quickly, and it was very clear that we would be friends. And funny would be my final one. You're actually a super funny guy, and I'm not just saying this to flatter you. Like, I'm not really a guy to do that, but yeah, you're a funny guy, and you love to crack jokes, which I really like. So yeah, that's how I would answer that.
I don't know. Honest is the first word that comes to mind. It's like my favorite thing about you. How honest you are. Also, there's definitely like a wittiness there, for sure. The measured is accurate. But then there's also, I think there's this side that, I don't know how to quite put this into words, but it's like unexpected. Like, it's like you're super talented and wicked smart and like a genius in some areas, but it's almost unexpected, and you keep it under wraps. Like, you're very humble about it. Like, you don't tell anybody that you're a wicked ping pong champion, but then when we go to the Olympics, this motherfucker goes upstairs to his bag, brings down his own fucking paddle to destroy everybody. Or like, he's a chess wizard. He goes around and memorizes everyone's phone number at the bar, and then an hour later tells everyone their phone number.
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, like just all these things. Like, every time I talk to you, it's just, oh, he's just fucking smarter and more talented than I thought. Okay, cool. What is this? So, I don't know if I'd put that, how do I put that into a word? That's more than 3 words. Smart. Intelligent. So, yeah. Okay, what's the best piece and the worst piece of advice you've ever received?
You asked me this before.
I have. Well, you asked me to ask you a question. Yeah, Carl, you go.
Oh, first, what just happened?
If there's
Like,
background noise, sorry in advance.
Okay, it's compliments that directly go to my heart. And usually I'm very shy about it, or I don't really think it's authentic. And so I get weird. or don't accept that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. You said humble, but is that humble to like feel the ego boost of receiving compliments?
Yeah, of course it is.
Because you're not seeking it out. We're just like free, like just giving it to you for free. So I don't think it's doesn't mean you're not humble to accept a compliment.
I don't think that being humble is having a low opinion of yourself, right? Being humble is having an honest opinion of yourself. And so, with the exception of funny, which I admit was from my 3 words was a flattery, I guess.
No, but it's so true, though.
It's difficult to interpret funny in a bad way.
No, but it's so true.
It's
so
super
true.
true, and I'm saying it authentically, and I'm saying it honestly. But like with that one, I can understand why someone might be like, "Oh, thanks. I don't think I'm that funny, but thanks."
Yeah.
But the other two are values which you value about yourself, which I'm recognizing in you, which is you consider it a compliment because you consider them to be of high value, right? So me telling you that and you thinking that's a good thing doesn't go against humility, right? Recognizing values which you have tried to foster in yourself and have successfully fostered in yourself is humility, because you're being honest with yourself about what you want to be and what you're trying to be, and I'm recognizing that in you and saying, I see this, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to like say it's not true, because it's like more humble to say it's not true. That's not the case. You can be humble and be thankful of people recognizing things in yourself which you're trying to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not being
You're
humble, I
not
guess, would
able
be
to
like,
accept-
if you weren't humble, you might be like, and you can add to that list, smart and sexy, and if that wouldn't be humble, right? But yeah, like you can accept compliments and still be humble for sure. You should accept
Yeah,
that.
and that's why I said it goes through my heart, to my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you said things you would say to describe me, or 3 qualities to describe me. What about yours? Do you?
Like,
Would
how
you
would
like
I
to talk
describe
about it?
myself
Yeah.
to other people?
Yeah. At the beginning, I thought you were gonna say yours, and
Yeah,
or
I was trying to think
if you
as you
understand
were
the
talking.
question the same way, like mathematically.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
You don't want to
I would
force
say
anything,
no. I think I would consider myself to be analytical, and like to a fault. Like I don't see that as a positive.
to a fault.
To a fault, like even like too much sometimes.
Oh, to a fault. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think that it's always helped me to be analytical, but I think as for my job, I need to be, and like I am in my everyday life, and that can be about lots of different stuff, and like that can be over analyzing qualities of myself, which I don't like, or over analyzing a situation, which to a point where I feel uncomfortable with the situation, or like over analyzing something that someone has said, or over analyzing something that someone has done, this kind of stuff. So, but I think that's definitely a trait of mine which I hold to be analytical, which has also got good parts about it too. I don't know. Like, I can't think of what the word would be, but I am very comfortable and quick to express my values and opinions on things. So I don't know what the word for that would be.
Opinionated?
Opinionated. Yeah. Also to a fault points. But also it's good. I'm very quick to engage in discussions with people about stuff which I find interesting or important. I don't know. I would also probably add extroverted, probably. Because how I define introverted versus extroverted is that I require interaction to be energized. I need to be around people to be energized. And if I don't see people or speak to people enough, I become like upset and like a shell of myself. Like I need to have interaction with people, and that's part of the reason why I moved into this house.
Me too.
Right? And it's not like being an introvert. You can be introvert and be super socially confident and super socially capable, but it just means that you need time by yourself. Whereas for me, time by myself can be dangerous. If I'm alone for too long, then I get caught in loops. So probably that too. Yeah.
Where the hell are they bringing?
What the fuck are you guys doing?
Where are you guys bringing the chairs? J'adore.
Some carnage.
C'est le carnage. Où est-ce que...
C'est le carnage, ouais.
Where are they? Where are they
It's
going?
not,
Are they just going to sit outside?
No, they're going down the street and they're gonna set tables and chairs and they're gonna drink. I'm going as well.
Okay, we'll come after.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, we'll come after.
All right, so let's just do one more question.
Let's do it.
Do you think it's English speaker trait to be that, to have répartie?
The quoi?
You never doubt what you say. Like you always know where you're going in a structured way.
No, I don't know where I'm going with what I say half the fucking time. And I doubt what I say half the fucking time. What are you talking about? I don't think it's an English speaker thing. I say shit and then I'm like, oh, fuck. Should I have said that? I don't know.
You just look so confident when you say it. Okay.
No,
Yeah, maybe it's that.
I don't know.
Actually.
I don't know. I'll say the thing because I think I value honesty, and that's one of the words actually that if you were to ask me that question about myself, like I have 5. I don't have 3, but one of the 5 words is honest, and that was not given to me by myself. That was given to me by my longest term friend. I've known him since I was 5 years old, so he's known me pretty much my whole life. And he's, Sasha, you're so honest. He's like, when we were kids, you could not regulate it. Like you would just say whatever the fuck was on your mind, and sometimes like it was too much, but now you're better at regulating it. But it's like one of those words, but it's like I say it with no filter, but that doesn't mean that later on down the line I don't question like, oh shit, should have I said that? Did I say too much? Did I not say enough? I think less so now. Like nowadays, I'm like, you're either gonna love me or you're gonna hate me, and that's just it. I'm just gonna say whatever the fuck I'm gonna say and like whatever. But I also think that comes with talking out of my ass half the time.
Yeah.
If future you, have I asked you this question
I
yet?
don't think so.
If future you were to come back to this moment, what wisdom would you give yourself?
The future.
If the future me was to come to this moment, I would love to know.
Toi, dans le futur,
If I knew
va
it wouldn't be
retourner
very
à
advice,
ces
though, right?
moments. Quel est les wisdom?
Oh, what would I ask?
No, what would future you say to you?
Oh, so I don't know about it yet.
But
I don't know yet.
if I knew it would be terrible advice, right? Because then why bother?
Yeah.
If
Well-
future me told me something and I was like, yeah, I know, I'd be like, why the fuck did you bother inventing time travel to come and tell me this? Tell me something new. Like,
And to
tell me
do-
something I don't know.
to do-
invest in.
Yeah, tell me what like altcoin is going to be the most valuable in 10 years.
And if I see my past self, I wouldn't say shit. Just live the same way. Live your life. I don't want to disturb that.
But invest in Bitcoin.
What?
But invest in Bitcoin.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I don't really want to know that. I'm just gonna get there and figure it out myself. Otherwise, it's gonna be some weird Back to the Future shit, and I'm gonna end up like living in some hellhole. I don't know. Doesn't it all go wrong in Back to the
Wouldn't
Future? He
you
tries to
think?
tell himself what's gonna happen, and then he ends up like dating his mom or some shit. What the fuck?
Do you want to meet those people? Sasha, Max, and Octavia? If you want to meet them, I won't tell you shit.
What would you tell yourself? What would future you tell current Sasha?
What would future me tell current me? It's funny because I ask these questions to people, and then when people turn them around to me, sometimes I have answers. Like the 3 words to describe yourself, people keep turning that around to me, so I have 5. But this question, I don't know if anyone... No, Francesca asked me the same question, actually. She was like, what about you? And I was like, okay, bitch. If you haven't listened to that episode, go
Okay,
listen.
bitch.
Okay, bitch. Anyway, no. I think if future me were to come back to me right now, I think it's such a pivotal moment in my life at this stage with my rupture, with my rupture. It's at such a pivotal point in my life, in every area of my life. And I would just tell myself to be as present as possible and to enjoy it as much as possible and learn all the lessons, grow as much as possible, essayer, échouer, like apprendre les autres choses, just learn all the lessons, have as much fun as possible, be super present in your life, because I can't come back to this moment, and that's such a pivotal time where everything is changing. I know I have absolutely no limits and no responsibilities other than paying my rent, and I can do that at fucking anywhere. So yeah, just have fun, be present, and grow. Basically.
So you have no responsibility?
My only responsibility right now is my fucking credit card bill.
And later it won't be?
No, I think later I'll have more responsibility.
You want more?
In the future, yeah. Right now, no.
What responsibility? You know?
Yeah, I think in the future I'd want responsibility over my career. I know I want more responsibility over my own career. Like, I'd love to have my own team. Yes, I have my own company, but I'd like that to be an actual company. Not just me and my intern, which, like, love her, but not just me and my intern recording in the middle of the night, like, getting shit done. Like, just an actual team, like, more responsibility to help people in that way. Do I want responsibilities in terms of a family? Do I want that? I don't know. I don't know if I want a family or not. Like kids or whatever. I think that's like the thing that comes to mind. Like, when I thought about doing this whole journey, I have no responsibility. Like, I don't have a car, I don't have rent, I don't have kids, like, whatever. Like, I don't have a dog. No, I definitely want a dog. Oh my God. This is actually like a whole ass thing that I've been talking about in therapy. My whole, like, therapy, whatever. I've always wanted a dog, never had one. My mom was super allergic, so I never had one. I was an only child, right?
How do you know that?
What do you
that
mean?
You want a dog?
I've always wanted a dog. I've just always wanted one.
Yeah, okay, so one of your friends had one?
Yeah, like a bunch of my friends had one or whatever, and I just loved...
You really had a good synergy?
Yes. Like, I just love dogs. And I always wanted one and, like, never had one growing up. And, like, being an only child was very lonely, but being an only child in a very tumultuous, like, home environment with an emotionally abusive, like, parental experience, like, I had to lean on myself a lot. Like, it was very lonely. So I really wanted that. And it was like a whole thing with my ex too. Like, the timeline for getting one kept getting pushed back, and I really should have known at that point that fear of commitment was a real thing. But yeah, it's just like something I always wanted, but I do want the responsibility.
You prefer to shit on the dog or shit on him?
I've made an agreement to him and myself. Like, I've set a boundary that I will not, there are some things that I, like, won't talk about what happened in the breakup online, but I'll talk about, like, how I'm dealing with it emotionally. There's only one podcast, like, I would talk about what actually fucking happened if and when I get signed. But it's, regardless, I want the responsibility of being a pet owner or a pet mom, like, whatever. An actual family, I don't know. I think it's just going to depend on my stage of life. Or, like, right now, I don't know. I don't know if I actually want one or not, but we'll see. And I'd love to be a homeowner at some point. Like, other responsibilities, like, not just
You don't feel like you have any responsibilities other than that?
No, I feel like no, because that was the whole point of starting this year and traveling this year, was like, my only responsibility right now is to pay rent. And if my ex is taking on all of the rent, my only responsibility is to pay my freaking credit card bill.
Well, your ex is taking on all the rent?
Well, my name is still on the lease, and he's paying the entirety of rent. My name is on the lease until December. So... Okay. He's just paying the entirety of the rent because I don't live there anymore. And he can afford it. He makes a lot. But he is paying the whole thing. My name is still on the lease, and, like, my only responsibility was paying the rent, but I don't have to do that anymore. So really my only responsibility is paying my credit card bill.
And you rent here?
Yeah, I rent here. So this is my responsibility right now. But, you know.
What? You have a rent?
Yeah, I have to pay rent at Cohabs, no?
Ah, at Cohabs.
Cohabs cut me a discount.
Your ex is paying for your rent?
No, my ex is paying for the apartment in Florida.
Yeah.
My name is still on the lease.
Okay.
My name is on the lease until December.
Okay. Because
we just re-signed. Pretty much. So, or we did before we split. Doesn't really matter. I don't remember when we re-signed, but regardless, yeah, he's paying the whole thing. I'm still technically a resident of Florida right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was like a long-winded answer of what responsibilities do I want in life. You heard some
No, but you well, you do every day. You can do whatever you want.
Every day I can do whatever the hell I want. I still work. Like my responsibilities right now are to pay rent, pay my credit card bill, make sure my work for my 9 to 5 is always done. That is like top priority because it enables me to live the life I live now. So the work for my job is always done, and then my business. And I guess my health. Oh, okay, I have more listen, the more we talk about it, yes, I have responsibilities, but I'm in general, right?
Yeah, you're pretty free.
I'm pretty free. Location free, like whatever the fuck I want to do.
What about you?
What responsibilities do I have?
Or what responsibilities do you want?
Yeah.
I have a responsibility to my job. I have a responsibility to rent. I have a responsibility to pay for food and everything else, boring stuff. I have a responsibility as a boyfriend, which I love. And I take that very seriously and love that responsibility, and it's great. I have a responsibility as a brother to my younger brother. He's had some super tough times and is now doing really well. And he probably doesn't need me as much as he did. But I still feel the responsibility there. As a son to my parents, obviously. That's about it, probably. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. To my friends, to be there. Like, I value being a person that people can turn to, and I hope that people feel that I am. So I have responsibility to my friends. But these aren't responsibilities. I think it's not a negative thing. I love all those things. I've chosen all those things. Most of them, at least.
What responsibilities do you want?
I want to be a dad one day, for sure. For sure. Not anytime soon.
Why?
Why do I want to be a dad? I don't know. I just,
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to have kids. Yeah, no question. I love the idea of helping someone navigate the world and trying to pass on some wisdom that I'll hopefully attain by then. I love the idea of being that person in someone else's life, and I think it's quite a cool thing to do. And it's not in a kind of not in a selfish way. I think I'd be such a good dad. I don't know. I probably would struggle to be a dad as well, right? But I'd the idea of that sounds really nice for me to have that one day. And hopefully I'm with someone now who I think would be great parents, but I'm not going to jinx anything. But to be with someone that shares the same values as me and wants the same things and wants to instill the same values in a kid, that sounds awesome. I was lucky to have really good parents, and I'm very thankful to them and whatever they did for me. And the older I've got, the more I've realized that they were just me at 5 years from now, right? So they probably weren't that ready to be parents, but they did a really good job. So I'd love to try something similar. I'd love to have a house. My biggest goal in life is to build my own house. That's my, when people talk about their goal, that's my thing. I want to build my dream corner of the world and exist in that and live in a way that I'm comfortable with living. And I want to grow my own food. I want to catch my own water, make my own energy, all this kind of shit. And I want to assemble that corner of the world that I can then live in. So that's my big goal. So that's a responsibility that I want to have. And I would feel like I'm contributing to the world by doing that and building a blueprint that someone else could follow.
What is the world? The planet or the people?
The people, for sure. The reason I want to do that is because I feel uncomfortable with systems which I'm forced to participate in. I don't feel comfortable with the food systems, for example, that I participate in. So I would love to be able to escape that, and I would love to be able to provide an alternative for other people too. So a community, and that's in real life that looks like a community garden or something like that. I'd love to do that.
So not only for you.
No, it's not a selfish thing. It's it is a selfish thing because it's what I want, but I want to I want to try and establish that blueprint that people could use and benefit from.
Wouldn't you like to join such a community?
For sure, if one exists, I just haven't found it yet.
Sure, there are tons of.
For sure, yeah. For sure. I would also love to have a part in designing that system and trying to create
the optimal.
Yeah, to optimize it.
From your perspective, of course.
So, but yeah, be part of a system for sure. To have a hand in creating that and to have a responsibility to those people would be a responsibility that I would love to take on, and something that I can comfortably say that I'm not ready for yet, but I would like to be. The same way I want to be a dad. Very different things there, but yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. And a dog also. I'm going to have a dog, probably. I also want to have ducks. That's going to be my pet. I'm going to have a group of ducks, little flightless ducks, and they're going to run around my garden and pick slugs and snails from the garden for me and shit like that.
Yeah. That's one of your common like likes.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animals.
Yeah. I've got two
Pets.
dogs, so.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you, what responsibility do you want?
One of our common areas. I was thinking about the community earlier. And I think it's one of the things I could regret later not trying. Because it's been some time I was thinking about it.
In your community living right now.
True.
We are literally
True.
community
And
living.
That's probably, yeah.
We have responsibility to each other.
Exactly. For me,
but no one cleans up that goddamn big kitchen.
Yeah, that's why I moved out of that kitchen. Unabsorbed.
Don't tell me about it.
The big kitchen's disgusting. Je
Nah.
déteste les
But we have a
grands cuisiniers.
responsibility to be decent people and
Yeah,
to be
we do.
kind and to be nice and to be open and loving and whatever else. And I think we mostly do a pretty good job of that in this house. I think. I think everyone tries in their own way.
Yeah, everyone provides something, everyone gives something, but I don't know. Is there any responsibility you want before we start the Carnage? Also, by the way, it's the middle of the night for everyone listening.
Yeah,
it is.
It's 2 a.m. right now.
No, don't even tell me what time it is. Don't tell.
I won't tell. It's something like that.
It's probably something like that. Don't even tell me. But we'll go out for You're still going for Le Carnage. Wait, Tejas? You're going out?
Yes, let's go.
Let's go.
You guys done?
Almost.
I think
Yeah,
we're
pretty
wrapping
much.
up, right?
Unless Carl wants to tell us what responsibility he wants or what. No.
I don't care about responsibilities.
They said that if you're coming, bring a chair with you if you want to sit,
Why are we going out to some random ass place?
because we get yelled at over here and here.
They're just gonna sit in front of the
This is
store
chilling. Like,
with like 40s.
So they say if we want to come, bring a chair.
yeah, that's what Arthur texted me. But
What fucking chair, though? Can we bring your little couch thingy?
You can take it.
that'll be nice. I'm gonna TP and come.
Okay. Anyway.
Um,
Yes, the Carnage. Wait.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit on it, but you should take it.
Are you not sitting on it because of the egg?
No, because it's not that clean and I don't want to sit on it anyway.
He's making me nervous about sitting on this thing.
What?
I think you should have
What's-
a wardrobe change.
I know I'm definitely gonna have a wardrobe change for sure. I need
Yeah,
sweats
for sure.
immediately.
For sure. Do you really think I
Bien
would
sûr,
sit
bien
on it
sûr,
with my wardrobe
j'ai besoin
thing,
d'un
like,
changement de vêtements. Ouais.
and take your...
My contacts out. Yeah, he knows.
You've told me.
You've seen me in the middle of the night too many times. That's
Yeah.
why. It's every
Not
time
in
the
the middle
Carnage.
of-
Toujours.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. Well, thanks for coming on my pod. I think I asked like maybe 2 questions.
Yeah, we spiraled out, right?
But I really enjoyed this, and maybe part 2 we'll see if we feel inspired.
Let's see if we get enough views.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week.
Howdy, y'all.
Love you. Howdy, y'all. Peace out, y'all. Bye.
Peace out. Peace out from Mississippi now in Philadelphia. Oh, basketball.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. Please follow, subscribe, leave a review, all of the good things. If you want to connect more, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Living Your Vision. So what are you waiting for? Get out there, create the life of your dreams, and we will see you next week.